Hello, welcome to Total Spotfest. I am Jamie. That is JJ. And with us, we have an awesome guest. I'm super excited about this. Half of Hog and Dog, the hog himself, Matt Brannigan.
Hell yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, clap for me. Yes.
That's what we do. Welcome. But thank you, Matt, for joining us, for giving us of your time here. We were super excited to kind of get into this here. Been fans of yours for a long while, seen you on TV, and now we should get to talk to you in person. So how are you doing today, Matt?
I am funderful, I will say. Fun and wonderful.
Fun and wonderful, all in the same breath.
All in the same breath.
Thank you. Well, I do want to thank everybody. Thank you out there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We do appreciate you giving us some of your time here. As always, definitely, like and subscribe, all those things. We will have Matt's information up as well. But Jamie, let's just get right to it here. So,
all right. Let's just dive into hard-hitting questions. You have two cats, right?
I only have one cat now.
Oh, I thought you have one cat.
Yeah. You guys have a dog, though, right?
Dogs are two animals. Sorry,
one of my cats died a few years ago.
I'm sorry. Wow,
way to go, Jamie. Starting off
strong.
I'm hanging up. How dare you?
Yeah. So, which cat do you have right now?
I have the cat's name is Arwen, named after the Lord of the Rings elf. And she's laying on the desk right behind the camera right now. She'll probably walk in front of the camera too.
I am so happy your cat is named that. I don't know if you knew this or not, but it's not even a gag. It's not even a bit. It's actually a whole thing between one Jamie Faulkner and somebody I think who we mutually know, Heidi Howitzer, in relation to Lord of the Rings. So, Are you a Lord of the Rings fan?
Oh yeah, I have several Lord of the Rings tattoos. I enjoy it. I am a fan. I'm a fan of both, like the literature, and I like the movies. I hate the Hobbit movies, but I like Peter Jackson's extended movies a lot.
What's your favorite part of those movies? Is it the amount of walking that happens in these movies?
Well, here's the thing. That's a very Clerks 2 argument. It's like all movies. All movies are just walking forward, whether it's literally or figuratively. You can't knock a movie just for having a journey, And but having said that, I really do like the walking a lot. And when I was a kid, I'd walk around all night. I would walk around from like midnight to like 6 a.m. with like a toy sword, and I'd walk around. And I'm like, this is great. This is Lord of the Rings. This is what it's all about. So awesome. I do like the walking. I will defend the walking, and I do like it. I'll defend it as a metaphor and also appreciate it literally at the same time.
So metaphorically, I can appreciate that. But my whole thing is well over 2 hours of all three movies are these expansive shots of them just walking, not walking and talking. It's just the walking aspect that just really gets under my skin.
New Zealand somehow.
With how bad movies are now, with how like controlled everything is, and they're all filmed in these little like blue screen rooms, and they don't like do any exploring. Do you look back on it and kind of go like, oh, this actually is really cool. They put a lot of work into this. They have these beautiful shots they found. They have all these like impressive landscapes. And now movies are really simple and boring. Like, do you almost like appreciate it more in hindsight? Because I do.
I mean, if you put it that way, man, you are making a good argument. I cannot believe I'm doing this.
For the record, it's, you're standing further and further alone in this whole argument, Jamie. It started with Heidi, and, I took her side.
I totally get the Lord of the Rings isn't for everybody, but I will say that just the walking thing, I'm like, I won't accept that. I'll accept that there's just all these like crazy names and characters, and you go like, wait, who's that again? Like, I'll get on board with that. But there's just a lot of information to like accept. And you almost have to watch it a few times. Like when I saw it as a kid when they came out, I didn't understand half the shit that happened, but I'm like, this is sweet, and I'll just watch it again later.
Oh, you talking about the old cartoon movie they had?
Oh, dude, yeah, I saw that.
I remember that. Yeah, it was confusing as hell.
Yeah. And then like the art gets really like creepy because they start running out of money and they start doing really weird shit.
Right.
I want to like get really high on mushrooms or something and watch it. Probably lose my mind. Sounds scary.
Yeah,
I tried doing that once with
when I was
Kubrick.
in high school.
Yeah, I tried doing that once with Kubrick, and that was a weird experience. I'm just
Which Kubrick was it?
Clockwork Orange.
That's not a good one.
That was not my idea, but I was like, all right, let's do it. And it was
I guess they would all be
weird.
scary, but that one, especially like the fucking eyeballs and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
The milk,
yeah.
the milk scene is what got me. The
Oh,
milk
yeah,
scene
yeah.
fucked me
I haven't
up
seen that in a
royally.
really long time.
Oh,
Then okay, so
turn away from the drugs. Okay, good. All right.
Yeah, let's get away from that. I mean, obviously the
legal
watch.
here.
Condoning drugs. I'm just condoning watching movies. That's all.
So obviously, you said the journey. So I'm not even getting to the fact that they could have just rode the Eagles from the beginning and dropped the
Well, the
ring
Eagles
off.
are their own governing body. They're not your acting service, dog. I will say that the movies didn't do a good job of showing that the Eagles have their own shit going on and don't want to worry about it. But when they have like the Nazgul patrolling, like if they tried to fly with the Eagles, the Nazgul would be like, "Yeah, it's Eagles," and they would like go fight them.
That's fair. Are you a Star Wars guy?
I don't like Star Wars at all.
You're
I'm-
the exact opposite.
You've totally
fantasy
broken
over
Jamie's heart.
sci-fi.
I'm loving every second of this. Please go on.
I think sci-fi is like a better genre than fantasy, but I don't know. There's something about Star Wars I'm not on board with it. I don't think it's like bad, but I just missed it. I think so. I don't have any like nostalgia to it. I'll watch the old ones. I'm like, oh, this is it's fun. I like the practical effects and stuff. I like the
Okay.
but I think I just missed the window because I just don't get excited.
So
for it.
you said you watched Lord of the Rings as a kid, and did you read the books when you were young too?
Yeah, I think after the first movie came out, I was like, all right, I got to get these books, and I think I'd already read The Hobbit a few years before the movies came out.
Okay, so you were in the proper order too, then, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I remember in elementary school when they showed me The Hobbit, it was like this weird cover where it's like Bilbo was like a straight up rabbit. And I was like, what's this stupid like, Peter Cottontail bullshit? Like, I'm not reading this. And then you're like reading, like, this is nothing like the cover.
8,000 pages of Peter Cottontail.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So you just said something that did pique my curiosity because you think sci-fi is a better genre than fantasy, and I 100% agree. What would you consider one of your favorite sci-fi movies then?
I don't know. It's like, I feel like I don't even watch that many of them, but I've seen more good sci-fi movies than good fantasy movies. Fantasy movies is only Lord of the Rings that I can think of. There's probably like a couple others, but what was it? I don't know. I guess this counts as sci-fi, like at World's End with the Edgar Wright movie. Stuff.
Oh, I love that movie.
That one. I'm trying to think of other ones. I used to be smarter about movies. I kind of stopped watching stuff, and now I like can't remember things I like anymore. But there's like all these fun space movies and shit. Like I don't know. I can't think of any, but
That's okay.
Yeah, I just think that Lord of the Rings is like my favorite fictional thing. And then the rest of the fantasy stuff, I don't know.
It all falls into place.
Yeah. It's all just trying to do Lord of the Rings, but not as well. So it's like dumb. But other sci-fi is not just trying to do Star Wars. Like they all do their own thing.
Okay.
And even the bad ones are like kind of just watchable. Like the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies, I don't even think they're good movies, but I'll sit there and watch them like, had fun. Like, whatever.
Yeah, they're not good, but they're not terrible either.
They're watchable. I think it's just an easier genre to make something watchable for everybody. You don't have to... Yeah,
I've equated the same thing to like, Jamie's a big horror movie fan, right? And every October he puts me through hell, but we have to do like ranking horror movies, and I'm like, I have 4, right? But I've always liked the Resident Evil films. I like the games too, but same thing because it's just good. It's fine. It's not a great movie. A lot of ones are terrible movies, technically,
terrible.
but. Hey, it's mindless fun having the background. Cool, right?
I did watch a Resident Evil movie. I can't remember which one. I've only seen one of them, but I had a great time. It was like really, it was bad, but in a really fun, campy way.
Yeah.
That's like wrestling too. Like they can't all just be like 5-star classics. You can make things entertaining, but they don't have to be like good. There's different ways to tell stories.
Absolutely.
That's an excellent point because. Just like in movies, I feel like there's genres of wrestling, and some people don't necessarily feel that way. Like, oh, there's like different styles or whatever, but no, those genres, like Japanese strong styles, completely different from lucha libre, you know, and you have these other people, and one of the things that really gets under my skin too is when you get like, and you can completely disagree, which is fine because it seems like we're at odds already.
That's the trend for this interview here. Matt disagrees with Jamie.
But comedy wrestling, I don't believe that's real. I think it's more comedy promos, but then the wrestling's real shit. Like, honestly, good. It can have humor in it, obviously, but that's not the shtick. Like, it's just you're funny beforehand, and then you rock out in the ring.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I don't think comedy wrestling is really a thing at all. I mean, like, even if you use comedy as a spot, it's not necessarily to be funny. It's kind of just like the Bugs Bunny psychology. Like, you're messing with somebody, and you're like using bits and stuff to throw them off. You know, like, all my comedy spots are more spots that are designed to, like, oh, now he's getting frustrated, which now it's going to get more intense, which means I'll have to match it. Like, how long can I keep him on his toes like this? And you know, like, I do agree that there are genres of wrestling, but I don't think comedy wrestling is one of them. I think it's more like regional based, and like the tempos and like the different beats, different cultures kind of get into, you know, like the pacing of a match in Mexico versus like in Japan is like entirely different. And even in Japan, there's just different subsets of like the way they like to wrestle. So
like good.
I say, just on that note, you talk about the regionality of it too, and I know that because we kind of harken on that a lot with people that we've met in the industry and everything too. It's interesting seeing somebody from California, somebody from New York, you know, somebody from Atlanta, and kind of different viewpoints. So, do you find yourself kind of going into different versions of your character as you go to different regions, or is it just kind of still the same thing but maybe a little tweaked, or is it just uniform across the board?
I think it depends. Sometimes I show up and like, you know, like if you're in the South or some places in the Midwest, or like, I don't know, you kind of know like this is an old school crowd. But sometimes I just want to get them to like something that I know they don't normally like. Because I think there's a way you can make people like everything. So it's like, all right, I'm going to do this like super indie bullshit for this old school crowd, but I'm going to try and do it in a way that's going to trick them into liking it, even though the first 3 matches tried it and it didn't work. So sometimes I'm stubborn like that, and it's more for my own like creative curiosity, I guess. But a lot of times I know the crowd, and like I would say it is more different versions of myself, where it's like, all right, here, like this crowd, I'm going to amplify the silliness. Like a lot of big cities, like in LA and New York, they're almost like non-wrestling crowds. They're almost like ironically there, so like you can be ironic too,
right?
And you can kind of flip it in a way where you can wink it back at them, and then they have fun and they do all the classic wrestling reactions because you're just this other guy who's like kind of making fun of the whole thing. So I usually ham up the comedy or like just the bullshit and the over the top overselling, HBK Hogan selling and stuff like that for crowds like that. And I usually can win them over with it. But then you know when to stop, and at some point you have to give them like real wrestling. But sometimes you need to spend time drawing them in with the things they like. And then you can give them what you think is good wrestling. And by then they're on board for anything you do.
Cool. So by that, who would you say is probably you've been in the industry for what, a decade now?
Yes.
Or 11 years, I'm sorry.
Who knows?
I did a little research. Who would you say is probably the most hardcore, like old school fans you've ran across that you have to do it the old school, like Arn Anderson style, you know, camera locks and
like place or promotion or whatever,
yeah. I don't know if you want to do promotion because he probably still wants to work.
I think when I worked in North Carolina and Tennessee a couple times, they're super old school. Like School of Morton has a really old school crowd. I think a lot of it's going to be in the South, though there are some really small shows in Ohio that are really old school as well.
Really?
I feel like any Republican town you go to is going to be Arn Anderson shit.
That's
see enough red baseball hats. They're like, all right, it's Ritz Locks, everybody. We got Republicans out here.
Super slow pace.
Tell everyone to shut up. Tell them that
I mean,
And your finisher today's a leg drop. Bam.
Tennessee, I can definitely see that harkens. I mean, you know, that's the old Mid-South days and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
Which
Hell,
nothing
I'm
wrong
10
with some
minutes
of
away
that.
from Kansas. That shit will fly in Kansas. Like
I
this
do
is
love
very,
that old school, like wrestling's really fun, and I think a lot of wrestlers now shit on it, but also wouldn't know how to do it if they had to. And
Mhm.
I think being able to squeeze a lot out of very little is very important. And I think a lot of wrestlers now don't know how to squeeze anything out of anything, not even something small. Like they'll hit like a bunch of things, and I was like, "Oh, this sucks." Like no one's really reacting. You know, when I'm playing in matches with people, especially younger guys, like, "Hey, what's something flashy you do?" And I'll be like, "I'm charming. Like the crowd will like me. I'll talk to them. Like I don't really need to do any move. Like I'll win them over." Oh,
Yeah.
there's
Oh,
Arlen.
there we go.
There's her butt.
We have with cat butt. I think that's our first cat butt on the show. We've had dog. But I don't think we've had a cat butt.
We've had
several
several dogs. My cat's been on, but just you see it like
No, I think Gary J's cat made an appearance. Actually,
that's right.
Okay.
Good old Gary
Gary
J.
J.
So, speaking of, you know, talking about different, you know, things and, you know, gimmicks and stuff, I do want to talk a little bit about, because, you know, you do a lot of single wrestling, but you also are in a tag team.
Mm-hmm.
And just put us out there to be completely transparent. I'm addicted to your guys' promos. You and Ronnie together. I mean, you guys, fantastic matchup. Ronnie's great. You're great. You know, but I think the first promo I saw of you guys together, I've seen a little bit of stuff here and there, but the first promo I saw you guys together was the pumpkin promo from last year.
I think that was the first promo we did. So, yeah.
Oh, really?
Okay, well that makes sense then. But you know,
Yeah.
I saw this and I go, wait, I've seen him. This is amazing. So, but watching the wrestling is fantastic too. So, talk a little bit about your time with Ronnie as compared to. I mean, do you like doing the tag team more? Is it something just it's kind of a different change of pace? Do you prefer one or the other? I mean,
Well, when I started 11 years ago, I was in a tag team, and I hated it. I thought it was really stressful. Me and the guy I feel like we had totally different ideas of what the team should be and what we both wanted out of wrestling. So it was like a bad experience for me. And that only lasted probably like 6 months. And then I've been doing singles ever since. But when me and Ronnie started teaming, which was really just almost created by fans on Twitter, like they're the ones who mentioned that we have like similar vibes and stuff. And they gave us the name and everything. When me and Ronnie like messaged a few times, you know, nothing crazy. And when he was driving from Buffalo or upstate New York, I can't remember where he was at the time, to Indiana to do that promo, and then we're going to work Black Label. Yeah. We like sent a bunch of voice messages of like ideas of things to do. And that's like when we really started like talking for the first time.
right.
And by the time I got here, it was like, oh, here he is. And we like did that promo, and it was like everything just clicked. Like the ideas we had, like his reactions to what I say, I didn't have to guide anything. Like he knew. I don't know. It's like I feel like
It's one of those that you felt right from the start, right? You know,
just as soon as we got going, I was like, this is really funny. Like, and I was really worried about the promo going in because I had like felt like I'd really carved this niche promo style, and I was like, am I compromising my own thing? Like, do I want to give away my own thing to someone else? It took me like 2 years to get people to even like this, and now they like it. Like, but as soon as we started, I'm like, this is really funny. Like you can see us just like kind of laughing during the whole thing. It was like having fun with it. But yeah, I don't know if you heard Ronnie like had to retire.
Oh, did he? I did hear that,
recently. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I just saw something on his Twitter about that.
Yeah, it wasn't a work. He really had to. He has some really bad back problems. He's probably back surgery. Yeah.
I thought it was
really sad. Yeah, he was like my favorite guy in the Indies. He was like the most like this guy should be signed right now, dude on the Indies, especially with his experience level. It was amazing how talented he was. His mind is really good, like both in ring stuff and like knowing his character's voice and knowing how he can play with it without like compromising what his character is. That's like really advanced stuff. He was really good. I still try to work him into my promos, so you've like probably still seen him like I'm gonna still work them into my promos.
Well, I mean, yeah, why not? You're still good. So I did not know. I thought he was just like injured. I didn't know that it was that serious. So.
It's bad. It's really unfortunate.
Oh wow.
I think that when that happens, so like he's like genuinely probably like the nicest dude I've met in wrestling, like since I've started. So it's a bummer. But to answer your other question, I preferred tagging with Ronnie than doing singles. So, but now I'm back to singles, and now it's a bit of a bummer. But I'm trying to
Yeah,
trying to push through.
You know,
I'm trying to work in some of Ronnie's bit shit with my stuff now. I'm gonna push forward a tribute to Ronnie now.
There you go.
There you go. That's awesome. So let's take a left from the wrestling, and let's talk about what are you into? Let's talk about music. What kind of music are you into? What's on your soundtrack when you're getting ready to go out on stage?
I will say I've been very musically lazy these last few years. I've sought out nothing. I'm almost withdrawn and like going to this core like same 100 songs over and over again, which I've never done before. But I need to make a concentrated effort to get back out there. But right now, I mostly listen to like early 2000s indie rock, Bee Gees, Rick James. What else? I got some Suicide Boys on there. This is all in the same playlist, by the way.
Fantastic.
What else?
Be there.
I know some random classic rock like Elton John's like I'm Still Standing. I'm like,
okay,
that's a jam. But what was I just listening to? I'm listening to Queens of the Stone Age again because they have new music coming out that I'm very leery about. But I'm listening to that again just to get warmed up for it. What else? I don't know. I listen to like a lot of stuff. It's hard to. I've been like in bands like since I was like a teenager. I've been rapping since I was like 15.
Oh wow!
So I'm like into all sorts of weird stuff. But I found this band the other day. The band name is Pigs, 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 and it's like doom metal. Like it's fun.
I love it already.
It's fun gym music. I only saw it because I saw a thumbnail on YouTube and the singer's wearing a Stone Cold shirt, and I was like, let's check this out.
It's amazing how like if you see somebody sing like a band or something that they're wearing like a wrestling shirt or something else you're into, you're instantly just like, I'll give it a go, and then you end up loving it.
Yeah. He's like, okay, we have common ground. Like, let's see.
I mean, yeah, one of my favorite bands, Beartooth. You know, they had a really cool shirt this dude was wearing, and I was like, "That's a really cool shirt. Who is that?" Beartooth. Oh, you never know, right?
Okay. A cool ass shirt, and you're like it's worth a click to find out.
I mean, I'm a sucker for merch, so hey, I'll get suckered in. So
that's fair.
I am too. I have way too many shirts. It's crazy.
I hear you. I do appreciate because just to give you a little rundown here, because Jamie is of the two of us here. You know, me and Jamie are very similar, but Jamie is very much the cinephile, and I'm very much the audiophile of the two of us. We both like both, but if we had to pick a team, that's who we would pick in the end of the day. And people give me crap all the time because I'll go from like death metal to like Bowie to like I love the juxtaposition of it too. You know, you talk about early 2000s indie, like that's my jam, right? You know,
yeah, I have like slow Arcade Fire songs from like Neon Bible, like in my workout.
Neon Bible is so good. Arcade Fire got a lot of flack, and I don't know why.
A lot of flack. I think it's better than Funeral. I like them both. I like all their stuff, really. Even the stuff that I'm kind of like, it's always worth listening to. It's always interesting.
Yeah. It feels like a lot of that generation too. It's almost like people like look at it as like a guilty pleasure. Like you can't say you like the Killers at all, right? You know?
Yeah.
Or it's like, why?
Good.
What's wrong with that?
Down is like this crazy awesome album. Everyone's like, no, it's too. Yeah, it's because there was like so much like that's like when the underground was really getting big. So it was like the Killers got too popular. So if you admitted you liked them, you weren't cool enough.
Yeah, Take You Back Sunday sold out, so it's like whatever.
Yeah, you always have to go deeper underground.
Yeah. So you're only cool if you like the yeahs. It's like,
yep. Although I do like the yeahs.
I do too.
Maps is one of the best songs I've ever heard in my life.
when Arcade Fire won the Grammy for Suburbs, I feel like everyone's like, "Oh, they're done. Arcade Fire's done." And they still have like awesome songs coming out, but no one cares.
That's that old school mentality, though. That's that. Well, Zeppelin never even got nominated for a Grammy, so fuck the Grammy.
Yeah.
That's what It's like, get over it. Does it sound
You know,
good or not?
the music industry's like bigger. You should be happy about it. Like, come on, just. I'm that way all the time though. Like, I still have that hipster mentality of just like, you want to like shit on things that do well. Probably because I'm an indie wrestler. If I got signed, I'd shit on myself.
So when you showed up on TV on Dark, you were like, oh, fuck that guy, right?
Dude, I kind of was. I was like a grunt backstage. I was like all cranky. Like the 3 times I did it, I feel like
Really?
I was just in a bad mood. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just like there's a lot of pressure, and I really don't like standing around all day. So when you have to do like TV, it's like, all right, here's my 12-hour day, and I'm just worried all day, and I haven't eaten all day because I want my abs to look good, so I'm getting cranky. I'm drinking a pot of coffee in the back, and I'm getting worked up.
No food,
No
coffee,
food.
plus nothing to do. I get. Hey, that'll happen.
So speaking of Dark, I mean, now it's gone. It's been deleted, if you will. Who is your favorite AEW wrestler to work with?
Let me see. I really liked working with Dark Order. Those guys are really cool. Really nice and really easy to talk to. Billy Gunn was our producer for that. He never even showed up because he was just like look at me,
somehow I'm not surprised. That's fantastic.
But I was like excited to be like, hey, Billy Gunn, I love you, but he never showed up. The Dark Order guys, I grew up watching. I'm more of an indie guy growing up, so more of this hipster mentality.
Okay.
I liked indies more than WWE growing up, and I'd go to indies all the time. I was at really early Ring of Honor shows as a kid that my older brother would drive me. It's like cool. Boston and Dayton. I saw the Punk Joe trilogy live, all 3 of them.
Oh, what?
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's amazing.
So I'm a huge indie guy. So when I got to work at Dark Order, Evil Uno, I'm like, oh, Player Uno, oh snap! And then they're doing they beat me with the old Chikara Ragnarok move that BDK used to do. And I remember when I was all excited, ooh,
that's cool.
The Chikara move, this is crazy. And then they even said I knew the move they were describing to me. I'm like, oh, I know the move, I've seen it. And they go oh yeah, of course you watch AEW. And I was like, no, I saw Chikara. I watched Chikara.
It's
I just admitted that I don't watch AEW.
Right. Well, it's like the whole Chikara is this almost, it's like a subset of AEW, right? Not just with wrestlers. There's a whole group of wrestlers who are old Chikara guys, right? But there's also the fans that are the old, kind of
there's a lot of the Chikara spirit that kind of got tainted because Chikara just ended up being,
Well, yeah.
We don't even need to go into that. But I feel a lot of that goodwill towards wrestling and towards just almost silliness, just pure silliness and having fun is in AEW, especially with guys like the Dark Order guys. So they were tons of fun to work with. I'm trying to remember who else I worked with.
You fought House of Black, didn't you? Or was it Malachi?
Oh yeah, that I hate working with them. I wrestled no, what's his name now?
Brody?
Alex Black. 11 years ago I wrestled him in Dayton, Ohio. And he was a huge dick to me, and I just he gave me a concussion, and then he was just mean to me about it. And I was like, dude, it wasn't and he just beat me up for 20 minutes. It was on my birthday. I have no memory of the entire.
Oh shit!
My mom was the only time my mom at that point had watched me wrestle, and I was just getting destroyed in this main event. But he was a dick. And then when I saw him in AEW, I was like, I wonder if he remembers me, but I'm just not going to even bring it up. But he was kind of looking at me like I seemed familiar, and he was still mean to me. So maybe he does remember me. But yeah, they were just I don't know. They were probably just worried that we didn't know what we were doing. They seemed really stressed out about looking good, and I think they were worried that we would make them look stupid. So, and Brody was really cool. I will say that. But Buddy and Alistair were really uptight. But whatever. I get uptight too. So it's. And I think I did a pull apart on a Dynamite once with Mox and Hangman Page, and they were really nice too.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I didn't get a match on that show because I couldn't find check-in. So I ended up being like 2 hours late.
Really?
That sucks.
I do like seeing, like, especially like when they do like local, you know, they'll come here and they'll go to St. Louis because we're in Kansas City. Then they'll go to St. Louis, right? You know, and it's like, so we'll see a lot of like the Kansas City guys are like security guards for the St. Louis show and everything. And it's always fun seeing like, oh, like SK was a paramedic one time. I think SK Bishop. Do you remember that, Jamie?
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. They're like, hey, we know that guy.
Paramedic for John Moxley who got beat up.
They wanted me to be a paramedic on one of the Dynamites, and they ended up scrapping it because they wanted real paramedics. And I think it was because of that MJF meme where the guy put that oxygen shank on his forehead. I think they were like really serious, like, you guys have any training with paramedics? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then the other guy said, yeah, and then the other person, I don't want to name drop her, she said no, and then he goes, forget it, and he scrapped the whole thing.
Oh,
what are you doing?
Like, just say yes. What's wrong?
Just say yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because you've done stand-in work. Have you done any stand-in work for the Fed as well, or just?
I haven't. I actually they reached out to me once, and I said no because I've heard no good stories about it. But that was years ago. I think it's better now, but I've never done it. I think I was almost a rosebud once, and I just said that sounds terrible. I don't want it.
That does sound terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never done that. I'd be open to it now just to see, but I just heard it was really stressful. Like the environment at AEW is really chill. Like you almost forget that you're at like a live TV thing because it's like so chill and everyone's just being nice.
That's cool.
From what I've heard of WWE extra stuff from a few years ago, it was like really stressful. You're worried about getting in trouble all the time. Like just try to be out of the way all the time.
Oh wow,
that does sound like the Fed. I mean, Jamie, you were kind of an extra once.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well,
No,
so I wasn't really one. It was more of a seat filler. So what they do is they hire some people. Well, it's not you hire.
They give you free attendance.
I got to go sit on the floor for free.
Hire sounds better.
Yeah, and then they tap you on the shoulder to say, "Hey, go fill a seat." And then if anybody asks you questions, like if they go, "Oh, that's your seat," it's like, "No, I'm here because I work for WWE." Blah blah blah. And everyone's like, "Oh, that's so cool." It's like, "Can you get us backstage?" It's like, "No."
Do you know Hulk Hogan?
Yeah. Let me tell you something, brother. Yeah.
That's great.
So
that's not a bad gig. Seat filler. That's not bad.
It was pretty nice. But we were there for Uzi Hot. For the
Uzi Hot episode of Raw where
I kind of remember that. I don't really watch WWE, so like if I don't see it on Twitter, I don't know what it is.
That was around the time that I stopped. I was just like,
I was like, I think that was close to the breaking point, or when the Revival was shaving each other's backs. I think that was the moment.
It was all the same storyline.
Yeah, that's right. That was in that time frame. Yeah, that was a really hard time. No one was having any fun then.
Yeah, and Ricochet was getting buried. You know, it was awesome.
Like it's really annoying because it's like wrestling. I feel like is just supposed to. I mean, it's like storytelling, and it can't all be good, but like it can't all be happy endings and stuff. But it's like ultimately, the crowd just being unhappy for like 2 years is like unforgivable. That everyone hated everything for so long. And they're just like, what are we even doing here? Like, I didn't get into wrestling to not have fun. Like, the whole point of it is to be fun. So I don't get it.
Yeah, and fun fact: we started our podcast off of Royal Rumble. And then not even 3 months later, it's like 3 or 4 months later, we decided we're done with WWE because all we end up doing on our podcast is a bitch fest. It's like no one wants to hear us bitch about WWE.
The negativity, because it's like, it sucks, but it's like, do we really want to dwell on it? We could just talk about things we like.
As Jamie even said that, we primarily do AEW, but then we talk because Jamie's big into Japanese wrestling, and I love lucha wrestling. So, we pull in AAA and New Japan, and it's stress level it's so much fun.
It's way better that way. Good call. I mean, there's enough people even talking about WWE too. Like, it's like you shine a little light on the indies, a little whatever. You don't have to. Yeah, it's good.
There's a lot of great wrestlers on the indie circuit. You included, obviously.
There's so many good indie wrestlers. It's crazy. Like, I mean, I want to just name drop a million people, but
Feel free.
it's so bad. I'll do it right now. Eric Dillinger, Josh Crane, Aaron Williams.
Oh yeah.
There's too many. I can't. Ronnie. I don't care that Ronnie retired. He's the best. Kevin Blackwood. It's just crazy, man. There's seriously so many. It's like, and now with AEW guys being able to work indies, it's like, well, shit. Now the indies are like, there's like stars on the indies, and then there's guys who are ready to be stars on the indies, and it's like, this is insane.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah, we've seen Aaron Williams at our old promotion. Yeah, at our old promotion, Journey Pro, and we saw Kevin Blackwood there too. Like, yeah, we've seen some of the Mount Rushmore-esque, of indie wrestling. We know Heidi very well and Austin.
We kind of know Max. Who can really know Max? But I mean,
I know Max, and Max, they're a real jerk to me. Always picking on me.
That sounds like Max.
We were just arguing on Instagram in the messages today.
Oh,
because I'm convinced that I tell Max, I'm like, I am bigger and stronger and taller than you, and they're like, no, you're not. I'm like, I am. So that's the argument that's been going on for about a year now.
All right, so
they are on a roll too. Like, Max is everywhere right now. Speaking of, they are just crushing.
Max is like really, really good. Like, we worked together recently, and I was like, I know they're like really good at wrestling, but the character work and like having that character, but being able to have moments of like silliness or even just like a bit of depth of like a little bit of emotion or some vulnerability in there, like does it in this really amazing way where they don't compromise their legitimacy at all. Like even that clip from was it TJW? Was it the
Tokyo Joshi Pro? Yeah.
TJP. I was like, it's not W. It was that clip. They were sitting on the apron and like eating during the match and like ignoring the what was happening. And it was done in such a good way. Like I watched it like 100 times and I'm like, this is so good because it wasn't really for laughs. It was like legitimately like consumed by this thing. Sitting there, it was almost like cute. Like, but then as soon as they get back in the ring, it's scary again. And it's like not many people would even know how to like attempt to do that, let alone like pull it off effortlessly. So it's just good acting. I just like admire it from an acting standpoint. I'm just impressed by it.
All right. Well, I love the little attentions to detail. Like the first time I saw Max, and then I was like, "What's all the stuff that they have around their stuff?" And Jimmy's like, "Oh, they take a piece of each of their opponents that they defeat." And I go, "That's fantastic! I love this."
Isn't that cool? They took my pink bandana.
Right
now, I don't have a pink bandana.
You talk about long form storytelling. That's about as good as it gets. Yeah,
Max is super talented. Heidi's really good too.
Heidi's all right.
I kind of went off. I've never worked with Heidi, so I can't even.
Oh, you two have like some of the funnest Twitter spat. I wouldn't call it spats, just, talk offs, if you will.
I really want to wrestle Heidi for the promos alone. I might even just do a promo on Heidi and just hope someone books it. I might just call her out. I don't
do it.
Yeah,
I think
Glory Pro in St. Louis. We'll come see you.
Oh, Glory Pro or Triple L in Denver. That'd be great. Triple L.
Yes, in Missouri, you have to be approved by the athletic commission. You have to like give blood and like
you have to go to
semen, not mixed together. It's
ridiculous.
Not mixed together, great. Not gonna start over.
Well, I mean, it depends on how much you slide with that. But Glory Pro, no. I think actually, I think Matt and Heidi, Jamie at Triple L in Denver would be because
that's the one I'm really hoping for. I will say that before Ronnie retired, my dream match. Not even like in all of wrestling, I just happened to be involved in it. If I was a fan, I'd be like, this is gonna be the best match ever. I wanted me and Ronnie versus Heidi and Max. I'm like, I think that could be the funnest.
Oh wow,
matchup. So fun.
And I like started planning spots. I have like a notes file. I started like thinking of ideas what the story would be, and I was getting really carried away with it. I don't think it's gonna happen. We almost had it in February. I think we almost got it, and now it's never gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen.
God damn it!
Other options though. So you haven't done Triple L, right? Have you gotten? Because I know you're based out of Indiana, right?
Yeah.
You know, so I assume you do a lot, kind of towards the east and maybe the north, or do you
Right
venture
now,
very far west?
I'm mostly like an Indiana, Chicago area
Okay,
guy. I pop up in like Ohio sometimes, and I go to New York sometimes. Lately, I haven't been traveling that much. I just do like Black Label, and I was wrestling at New Wave Pro, but they
Right.
shut down. So now I'm like, okay, I need a new. Besides Black Label, I need like another regular place, and then just the random travel bookings. But I'm kind of enjoying not traveling too much now. My dog is old. I don't like leaving my dog behind
yeah.
anymore.
Quick trips.
That's
I
where
mean,
I'm
let's
at
be
right
real. There's enough in Chicago. You could do just Chicago, you know, and still
now.
have
Yeah,
a
I'm trying
career.
to break in more there. I sent out the emails.
Like,
I'm
hey,
trying to be like,
freelance,
I'm
what's
here now.
up?
Because I was from Dayton, Ohio, and then I lived in California for a bit, and now I'm here, and I feel like a lot of people don't know that I'm in Indiana. So I have to like reintroduce myself to all these people. Like, I live here now.
Well, was Minnesota a long drive? Because I mean, you always go up there too.
It's not. It's doable. It's pretty long. I think it's like 9 or 10 hours, but I'd be willing to do it if I could get something. But I don't think First Wrestling,
That's what I was thinking of.
really interested in. Darren Corbin was really nice, and he tried to help me get booked there. But I don't think Eric Cannon likes me because he called out Ronnie on Twitter, and then I got really defensive, and I kind of like talk shit. So I'll probably never get booked there.
I've heard similar things about Cannon from other people.
Yeah,
He's
that's-
very
Then I've heard bad things, but
yeah.
again, he's a guy I grew up watching, and I was like,
Yeah.
Eric Cannon's still good. He got the punch, the glimmering warlock.
Right.
I stole Solar Anarchy. But now when I do it, it's almost like an insult if he sees me doing it. He's like, oh, that guy made fun of me. Now he's doing my move. But it's like, no, you're good. It's a good move. I stole it out of love.
It's true.
Yeah,
I stole it
true.
before.
Well, and one thing that we do love here at Total Spot Fest, we like playing games. So
Oh, yeah?
we generally have some games that we like to kind of go about. If you have not noticed, Jamie was taking some notes during most of this interview, as a matter of fact, because we have what we call the impossible games. So we have a couple different variants of this. I'm going to turn to Jamie and let him kind of explain a little bit about how it works here. Let's play some quick games real fast. Jamie?
All right, so we are going to start off with a good old-fashioned game of feud, faction, or fire. So this is basically the equivalent of FMK, if you will. So this one's pretty simple. You find somebody that you want to feud with, and somebody you want to faction with, and somebody that you want to fire. We will supply the 3 names.
Okay.
And then you go from there.
Okay.
So, very first one is gonna be Frodo.
Okay.
Second one is gonna be Max. We're mixing them all up, and then we are gonna do. Let's just do this one. The one I have written here is gonna be Aaron Williams.
Oh, okay. So it's feud, faction, fire, right?
Right.
Correct.
So you feud with one of them, you faction together, and you have to fire one of them.
They're gone forever.
Thanos
Like they got
from
Thanos from wrestling. Or from whatever.
I would feud with Aaron Williams.
Okay.
Because
I like to see that.
I really like work. I've wrestled him twice. I wrestled him like in the first few months that I started, and then I wrestled him a few months ago. But I feel like I can't believe we haven't wrestled more often. He's really good. And so I would like to feud with him because he's an old pal.
Okay.
I would faction with Frodo because hobbits have good food and they drink a lot. He would take me out. We'd do cool stuff. We'd walk around. We just walk around all the time.
Just
Who doesn't love that?
Walk from here to LA and back. Sure.
Yeah, let's do it. That sounds awesome. We'll film it. We'll make I think he would have the hookup.
I deserve that.
So
I'd be all about that.
That means
And that means I would fire Max because they are not as tall as me. Not only would I fire Max, I would fire Max out of a cannon into the sun, never to be seen again.
Them fighting words. I have a Max thing right here signed.
Oh, shit. They are, they
Well, that's
are
just a
fighting.
That's fine. It's just a picture. Oh wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
Damn.
That one was easy. That was an easy one.
that's a good one. Okay, Jamie, you have another impossible game here.
Yeah, we'll go with Desert Island. So
Yeah, it's my favorite.
this is one of our favorites.
Okay.
You know what? We didn't answer what we would have done.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
okay,
Sorry.
I'll go since you asked. Since you brought it up, I'll go.
I think we know where I'm going to go with it.
I think I know where you're. I think I absolutely know where you're going to go with it too. Okay, so I would feud with Frodo because he's short. And I could probably beat him up. Okay,
Makes sense.
That seems fair.
I would faction with Max because I'm too scared of her. I'm too scared of them. And I would fire Aaron Williams because he'll just the man will work wherever he goes. So I'm gonna get rid of it.
And he probably reminds you too much of Clockwork Orange, and you probably have a.
I mean, every match he starts off with a suit. And I love the gimmick of it, but it's like flashbacks. No. But so that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Start popping mushrooms around Aaron.
He's
Malcolm.
Yeah. He's like if Hunter Hearst Helmsley and Virgil had a baby.
Yeah.
Wow, a random Virgil reference makes it way.
Virgil
When
was at the
we're
bow tie back in
interviewing
the
Matt
day,
Brannigan. Way to go. Okay, Jamie.
I bust him out every now and again. Okay. I would easily feud with Aaron. I feel like that'd be fun because like he's a shit talker. And it's just great fun. Max, because I think with Max on my side, I could beat him. That's the only way.
Smart.
And then obviously I
He's
would
good.
fire Frodo from existence like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. You'd be like, that one's almost too easy for you. That one was like designed to be easy for you.
It was. I mean, I was the one who asked the question. All right. So now let's go to a deserted island. You're on a desert island here.
Okay.
So it's you. I mean, you could have your significant other with you. It's fine, whatever.
Whoever else. There's people on there. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So there is one album that plays on loop every day, all the time, except for one day a year. Another album gets to be played in its entirety, then it goes back to the other album. So what are your two albums?
I don't want to spend too much time thinking about this. There's a lot to think about.
Well, if you want, we can give you ours. Okay, if you got it, go ahead.
I'm gonna try and go with my instincts here.
All right, let's go.
I think that the album that plays all the time, I really don't think I can get sick of it, is Era Vulgaris by Queens of the Stone Age.
Okay.
I think that would be the one that plays all the time.
It's a great album.
I think I'd be productive in my deserted island tasks. And with that playing, I would try to time up things like, 666 coming on. I got to do something. I'll do my workout. And then the album that would play once a year is the little break. I think I would go with Street Songs by Rick James.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
A good mix up.
It would hit really hard after a year of weird factory rock.
We get that from a lot of people. We usually get that kind of like jump because I'm gonna have this play all year. I want to have something different for a little bit, right?
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense that way. But
Jamie,
I
I think you were like that too, right, Jamie?
Yes. So I was completely different. So my everyday was Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, because I feel like
went with Pink Floyd. I almost went with The Wall just for the volume of songs.
That's a good one. I personally like The Wall better.
Dark Side of the Moon is really good, but there's a lot of like just breaks of like nothing. But then maybe if you're listening to it all the time, that would be beneficial.
Yeah, and like one of the things is like I love The Wall. It's arguably one of my favorite albums of all time, but I feel like Dark Side of the Moon just has more just flow, whereas The Wall is kind of, because it's a movie too, like it just kind of it's all over the place, like with sounds and everything.
I think it's a little weak, but there are some good songs on it. There's some good tones on it too.
Yeah,
like the guitar tone on Run Like Hell is like makes me want to fight somebody. Yeah, Dark Side of the Moon is a superior album. But then again, you know what? I almost think I should have gone with "Wish You Were Here." No, I'm gonna stay where I'm at.
Wish You Were Here. So, fun fact: Wish You Were Here is my favorite song of all time.
Nice.
That's a fantastic song.
That's one of my favorite albums of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I can't listen to like one thing from it. I have to listen to the whole thing.
Yeah. All right. And then my once a year, I feel like after listening to Dark Side of the Moon, I'm going to need something that's going to make me laugh and something that is going to just, rock out. So I went with Steel Panthers, Feel the Steel.
You know what? I will say that you're thinking about like a little bit of laughter, a little bit of levity, a little bit of rocking. I almost picked as my my once a year break the first Tenacious D album. I almost went with that. Because that'd be like the holiday album. It's like, try to get drunk, desert island booze, and listen to Tenacious D. But that's a good pick. That's good.
And picks. Mine was actually pretty simple. I didn't really venture out too far. I picked my favorite band of all time is Rage Against the Machine. I can listen to Rage 1. I've listened to it in its entirety probably 1,000 times, if not more.
Good.
I could definitely have that on repeat all day, every day. Rage 1, I'm here for it. I don't care who's on the island. You get to listen to the killing in the name of constantly. Let's go.
Sweet. That's a good pick.
My once a year was another one of my favorite bands, and something because me and my dad really introduced me to a lot of classic rock. Not a ton of it, but he's a big Beatles fan, and he listened to Led Zeppelin and the Who and all that. So Zeppelin 4, his favorite. It became my favorite Zeppelin album. I think there's better Zeppelin albums. I think House of the Holy is better as a whole album, but Zeppelin 4 just hits that nostalgia vibe for me. So.
That is an important vibe to hit. So that's a good pick too. Yeah. Do you do the same game with movies, or is it just music?
We actually do a very similarly same game with movies. Yes.
Well, we can keep it. Let's just keep it the same.
Same setup, except instead of being in charge of the music, you're the person who gets to choose the movies. One movie's on loop 24/7, except for one playthrough a year. What are those movies?
I might need a second. Someone else go first.
JB, what were your movies?
I don't remember. So we're going to go
I remember one of my movies.
I know I think my on loop all the time was Willy Wonka of the Chocolate Factory because it's like my favorite original movie.
Yes, that was.
The OG, not that Charlie and Chocolate Factory bullshit. No. Willy Wonka. I want Gene Wilder on my TV. And then I believe my once a year, just because I am a horror movie nerd, was 7. I think that was right.
I think that's right. I think that was right.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, and
or was it Hellraiser?
It wasn't Hellraiser. I know it wasn't Hellraiser because
that's my favorite.
I thought it was going to be Hellraiser, but you went with something else. A little.
Yeah, with 7. Yeah.
What was mine? Oh yeah, mine was The Matrix. It was my all year. It's kind of like Rage 1. That's about the time when I was late 90s, early 2000s, that's graduating high school, starting college and all that. Matrix 1 blew my ever-loving mind, and I've loved the shit out of it ever since. I've debated getting Matrix. Yeah. I debated getting Matrix tattoos at least 2 dozen times, and I probably end up with a spoon at some point. But Matrix all day, every day. And then my once a year, because I actually am a giant Star Wars fan, because I got the Star Wars tattoo and everything, was Empire Strikes Back. So
nice.
Yeah. Because it is a superior movie franchise.
Let's see. I feel like my nonstop year-round movie, it has to be some dumb comedy. I think comedy is like my comfort.
Okay.
I think that's what I like. That's why I'm a silly person, because I like making people laugh because it makes me feel good.
You seem like a Beer Fest kind of guy or a Super Troopers kind of guy.
I do like Super Troopers. I've never seen Beer Fest, and that just came up recently, and I forgot that I never saw it, so I do want to see it.
Watch Beer Fest.
I just wrestled in a brewery, me and Fontaine versus Natter Day Saints, and they were referencing it, and I was like, shit, I never saw that movie, and they're like, get the fuck out of here.
It's so good. It's so
good. But I think I would go with Walk Hard.
Okay.
I quote that movie all the time.
It's so good. Something that's just really dense with jokes, so you don't really have to pay attention to it. Like I'd put movies on in the background, and my background genres are always comedy, like Simpsons. There's just something where you're walking by, you hear a joke, and you laugh, and you move on.
I mean,
And then Walk Hard has like good songs too. So there's that. And then my once a year it has to be some sort of banger, maybe like Hot Fuzz or something that just like
Dude, such a
I
good
mean,
movie.
that is a really good movie. I'm like, it is still really funny, but it's also just a legitimately good action. So
yeah.
Yeah. For
I
the
think-
greater good.
I think I'm gonna go with Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz. All right.
Yeah.
So,
That's so good.
Walk Hard, Hot Fuzz once a year. So
Yeah.
the other
So
side of the
that
coin
I
is
will-
that every other movie, because you don't understand that design, you never get to see anything else ever again. It's just those two. So
Yep, that's
That's
it.
fine. That's fine. I'd be very content.
I mean,
with those
I
two
think
as
those all
well.
very good choices. So.
I've seen a lot of movies. I'm good.
Well, we don't want to keep you too long. Oh, you got one more thing?
I got one more.
Oh, we got
because
one more.
This is
Okay.
This is brand new, just for you.
Ooh.
Oh shit.
It's not that hard, but all right. We've never done this. A Mount Rushmore of your favorite wrestlers who of all time. So
All time.
four.
Bryan Danielson, right out the gate. That's easy.
Okay.
He's the best. I think he's the best ever, and I don't even think it's really close. I remember like when I was going to Ring of Honor shows, and I think he'd maybe just been signed by WWE, but he was still in Ring of Honor. I was just like, he's the best ever. And my friend would be like, what about Ric Flair? I'm like, I don't know. I think Bryan Danielson's better. And he's like, oh. But now it's like he's done so much more. I'm like, my friend's like, oh, he might be better. So yeah, Bryan Danielson. I'm just trying to think of guys who like really caught my attention when I was watching it as a kid. Chris Jericho is one of them. Sometimes he does stuff now where I'm like, ugh, but he's done so much good stuff. I can't deny him. I think Kenta had a big influence on me, like young Noah Kenta.
Yeah.
Okay.
That kind of like rejuvenated the way I saw wrestling.
That's cool.
And just like his approach to it, and I was like, this is crazy. And who's someone else I think really just gets it? Oh man, there's so many. I was just watching, I don't know, maybe Bret Hart, maybe Piper. I gotta think. Let me think here for a sec. This is hard. Danielson, Jericho, Kenta. I gotta get someone. Eddie Guerrero. That's an easy one.
I was thinking,
Guerrero.
I was like, he's got to say Eddie Guerrero. My head was saying, like, he's got to say Eddie Guerrero.
I was getting a little too avant-garde there, and I was like, oh shit, Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah. Eddie, you're okay, buddy.
Yeah, he's just super good too. He's like another guy. Like
Cool.
I was just watching a little compilation I found someone made of him doing like the comedy spots, but just the nuances of the way he plays it. Like he's just a good actor. Like these are really hard bits to pull off. I've had enough failed comedy bits to know that this is a very hard bit to pull off. So I'm always impressed by, even if he wasn't like a great technical wrestler and like a great bass and a great like everything, he's good at everything. But just as a performer, like he's the best ever. And then it's like he's good at everything else too. So it's really it's really crazy.
Fantastic. I guess you want me to do. Are we doing the same thing, Jamie?
Of course.
All right. So mine's gonna be. I am gonna do Ric Flair because I grew up. Jamie knows this story. I'll let you. Some of our viewers know the story too, but I'll let you know. So I grew up in Central Illinois. Okay, Decatur to be exact. And Saturday afternoon. So we would get. This is back in the late 80s, early 90s, right? So we would get, a lot of stuff, St. Louis, Chicago with us, but we also would sometimes get some stuff up from, Memphis and Nashville. So Saturday afternoons at about, 2:00, I think is when it was, we would get like whatever the weekly review of Jim Crockett's promotions, and I got to see in his prime, the Nate. He's sitting there with young Tony Schiavone, spitting fire. And I'm like, I just fell in love with it because all I'd seen otherwise was just Hogan and Ultimate Warrior. And then this guy's like, what is this? This is amazing, right? This is like, there's something besides WWF out there. So Ric Flair, he's the best. The best.
He's really good.
So I would throw him out there. I was a big WCW guy during the whole Monday Night Wars. Okay.
Okay.
So with that being said, I'm gonna put in there Sting. You know, because I got same sort of vibes. You know, it was the big like the Crow. The Crow is one of my favorite movies, and when he started doing the Crow character, I was bought into it. So I'd put Sting up there. Oh, this is so much easier when we did tag teams a while back, Jamie. God,
I know.
It's like you only have 4 on there, and I'm like, I don't want to. I got to put Eddie Guerrero on there too. I mean, he just defined so much stuff, and I think he what I love about Eddie Guerrero is that he was that acceptable suburban entrance into luchador wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Mysterio was fun and all, but he was still a luchador. Eddie, no mask, and he was charming, and he, and so
for sure.
You brought that in there.
Yeah, I feel like he would end up on almost everybody's Mount Rushmore.
Oh yeah,
he's like the one guy I think would be on everybody's.
He's up there high.
Yeah. He's high.
And then I'm going to add this, and I know that there's probably better ones to have on there. There's like some, I'm thinking of like some old school guys, right? That probably deserve to be there and everything like that. But personally, I would take those 3. I'm going to take AJ Styles because I was a giant TNA fan when they launched. And a lot of that's because of Styles matches. Styles, Joe Daniels, one of my favorite match of all time.
Classic, yeah. Dude, there's just like so many different types of wrestlers to put on there because I'm thinking about mine. I'm like, I should have had Tiger Mask on there.
I know, right?
It's impossible. There's so many.
Oh,
all right.
Okay, well,
I know. So I've had the longest to think about it. So I'm hoping mine's decent. So obviously I'm gonna go Shawn Michaels. I think that's easy for me.
Are you actually? I'll let you finish and then I'll ask my question.
Go for your first 2 because those are easy for you. Okay.
Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho. I'm a OG Jerichoholic, man of 1,004 holds. All time. Then this is where I get a little crazy. Antonio Inoki.
Ooh.
That's
okay.
Crazy. I like that.
Greatest Japanese wrestler of all time. I mean, I could say Okada, but that's just a personal thing, but he's not the greatest.
Yeah.
And then for what he did to the business and how he personally made it explode. And I'm not saying Hulk Hogan, definitely not, never will say that name.
I was going to put you on blast there for a second. I was
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
He came up in my mind too.
Yeah.
Those are solid Mount Rushmores. I was going to ask, but then I wanted to see if Bret Hart ended up on your list. I was going to ask if you liked Bret Hart at all, or if you're just strictly a Shawn guy.
Well, he is the excellence of execution. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
That's not an answer, Jamie.
I know. He's boring.
So Shawn Michaels is your Star Wars and Bret Hart is your Lord of the Rings?
No, I wouldn't even put him as Lord of the Rings. I put Hulk Hogan as Lord of the Rings.
That offends me in a lot of ways, but interesting.
I would put Bret Hart as what's a great movie reference. It's a good movie. It's just kind of boring. Titanic.
It's like an Oscar movie. It's just some sort of like film. Yeah.
He's great. He just had no personality. And
I will say though, if you go back and watch Bret, I used to be on board with the no personality, but I was always the Bret over Shawn guy. If you go back and you realize that like his character is that he doesn't really have a personality, that he's just like a guy who wrestles, and like I don't know, his stuff kind of hits better. And some of his promos like just crack me up, and like he says some like great lines
and yells for like a minute. Like he doesn't actually like talk to anybody. He just and then runs off.
I don't know what's going on, but all these people here, and you're never doing anything. He's so inarticulate, but it's like I like it. And then he has that line in WCW where he's like, "I like to say hi to a fan watching at home, Smokey, my cat." my old cat's name was Smokey, and I was like, but then, I don't know. I just think if you give Bret another chance on promos, some are actually funny and some are actually good. Like him and Diesel, the build to that match is like awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
it's worth going back.
And then he wouldn't take the power bomb. That's still one of the things that just cracks me up. Would not take the power bomb.
I do find it I find it interesting, Jamie, because Matt, Jamie is very much a technical wrestling nerd, right? And the fact that you rank Brett so low is shocking.
Well, because you have to have flair too, man.
Okay.
It's almost he's like, okay. It's
I
like,
hear
Brett,
you. I hear you. I'm just saying.
no, I feel what you're saying. I think he stood out because he was so not flashy when everyone else was flashy, and I thought that made him flashy in the context of the time he was in WWF.
Well, they also were, their package is like stupid, super baby face, right? You know, with the giving the glasses to the Gare Kid thing, and you know, so
yeah.
And I'm a heel
hard
guy.
to be like inherently top good guys, like gonna always be boring. I think
That's well said.
Yeah, there's not a lot of meat to it. You know?
And if you want to go technical too, like let's talk about Lance Storm.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Super technical. Like a paper bag has more personality than Lance. D. Malenko, one of the greatest wrestlers who's arguably ever lived. Like,
I think he's got
don't
one
put
pop
a mic in that man's.
He's got one pop.
The biggest one was when he took off the mask.
Took off the mask.
That was big. When Lance Storm was really smart though, just from that "if I can be serious for a minute" thing, that was like the best shit. Like if you could figure out how to like lean into it, like he became like my favorite like guy. Like he's gonna say it. That was like my favorite line growing up.
Can I be serious for a moment? Yeah.
All right.
And his Canadian belief was amazing. Sorry, we're just barking out now.
We're just going to it.
Steve Blackman teamed with someone who was dancing. Who was it? It was Al Snow. I can't remember. I just remember Steve Blackman with like a cheese thing on his head. And he was like dancing, but he was throwing martial arts kicks. But the whole bit was that Steve Blackman had no personality. And then he started dancing one time, and it was as a kid. It's like, this is the best wrestling I've ever seen in my life.
You'll get those things popping out there. So, all right. Well, we do want to thank everybody for joining us some of the time here. Especially want to thank Matt for giving us his time here. And we like to turn it back to you for a few moments here, Matt. We're entering Free Plug City. So whatever you want to put your socials, what you got coming up, anything you're selling, hawking, I don't care. Take this time, plug away.
Man, I'm pretty simple. If you want some shirts, I got shirts. You can DM me on Twitter, which is at Matt_Brannigan, to get shirts directly from me. That I get more profit that way. I'm also trying to sell these Hog Dog shirts to send Ronnie some money to help with surgery. So if you want to help us, you just ordered a bunch of shirts and now they're basically useless, but they're still really funny and they're still good shirts. So
are they black?
Ronnie, hit me up. I got a PWT store. Just search Matt Brannigan. You can search Hog Dog too. There's some shirts on there as well. Just follow me on Twitter. I have an OnlyFans if you're into that, but you can find that on Twitter too. I don't have to go into too much detail. Just check out Black Label Pro shows if you want to see me and see good wrestling. And it's on Fight TV, and that's about it. I'm simple. Also plug Reese's. Reese's makes a fine coffee mug as well as delicious candy.
Love their candy.
Best candy ever.
All right, so question about the Hog Dog shirts that you have. Are they black? Are they white? What like
the ones on that I have printed are pink shirts with white print, and it's me and Ronnie doing the Eiffel Tower, and there's a hot dog between us.
That's fantastic.
Because that was our big move, was the Eiffel Tower.
Yes.
Then on PWTs, there's a blue and pink option. Possibly black. I can't remember if it went through or not. But and they're also color prints, so there's more color to it.
Jamie has a policy on the black wrestling T-shirts for a very obvious reason.
I don't want them. I'm over them because there's so many damn black.
I refuse to do it. But then you still see fans go, "You don't have black," and I go, "Oh well." So what the? Come on, man.
It's like, do I look like Metallica to you?
I still buy some, but then I tell people it's like my interests are professional wrestling, metal music. I'm a Steelers fan. I went to school at University of Missouri. I got black shirts on the lock. Okay.
just from going to indie shows since I was like 9 years old, I have always had so many black shirts. All my shirts are always indie wrestling shirts or WWE shirts, and it's like they're all black all the time. Mm-hmm. Now I'm wearing stuff like this. I'm like, I'm popping now. I'm in a color phase now. I'm done with that.
Go for it. Well,
Nice.
thank you, Matt, for giving us some of your time. We do appreciate it. Links for everything he said just down below. If you're watching us, if you're listening to us, please make sure you jot that down, or you can go to our YouTube, subscribe there. I've got everything listed down below. But definitely check out Matt if he's coming to a town near you. Follow him on Twitter so you can see when he's coming to a town near you next. And that's all we got. So thank you for giving us some of your time. Jamie, why don't you take us home, man?
Yeah, before I take us home, don't forget Black Label Pro on Fight TV June 3rd, going against Trevor Outlaw.
So that's coming up. That's right around the corner.
Change always, but as of right now, that's who it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down Toll Spotfest, I have 6 words for you.
6.
Lord of the Rings still sucks.
It was sick. I'd have counted again. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes he puts hyphenated words in there because he's like, "Oh, I miscounted."
It's like
I at the end, like I co-signed it.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Peace.